Hey everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons for more talk about the decks coming up in set 2 of the One Piece card game. And in this video we'll be talking about the purple film archetypes. A little earlier than set 2 we are getting the starter deck 5 featuring Shanks as the leader with characters from multiple movies like Stampede and Red. And in the set there are a couple more purple cards with the film trait, including the purple-black leader Zed. Shanks has the ability to activate main -3 Don in order to give all of your characters with the film trait an extra 2000 power for the turn. Very good ability, kind of like a stronger Zoro, except it's a little bit more of a cost and it's limited to only working on film characters. I'm not going to say you can't put in some good, strong, generic purple cards, but to get the best value off this leader, you're probably going to run mostly film cards. Zed, on the other hand, doesn't really need that. He is purple and black with an when attacking skill, which is Don -4 to KO an opponent's character that costs 3 or less, and then it gets an extra 1000 power. Of course, because he has access to black, anything can become a 3 cost or less. I went into detail on all the black cards in the last video, so check that out. Zed doesn't need to be full of film cards the way Shanks does, but he does have the film trait, so there are a few cards that I'll talk about here that you might find useful in Zed. The searcher for film cards is Buena Fiesta, and it's better than most searchers because it has a 2k counter power, so that is great. Both the leaders have -Don ability, so thankfully we do have a couple of options for ramping without having to borrow cards from our Kaido decks. Ain and the promo Uta are generic on-play ramps. They cost a bit, but they're strong attackers. The real downside is that they don't have counter power. Karina is an awesome card to ramp Don with though. She only costs 2 to play her, and she can be used when your opponent has more Don than you. Rest her, trash a film card, and then add 2 Don cards rested. Pretty good, and thankfully she does have counter power as well. This can be used when your opponent went first. It can be used when you're playing against another purple deck, and most importantly, it can be used after you use your -Don abilities. Good in Shanks for sure. If you want to run this in Zed, you'll want to make sure you have enough film cards to reliably be able to trash for the cost. And there is even an argument, I think, for running this card in Kaido. So you can use this card after doing -7, as that will fix your Don much faster than it will currently with just an Onigashima and a Jack, because you can combine Karina with the Onigashima and the Jack if you use Karina first. As this is purple, there are a few cards doing -Don effects as well. Douglas Bullet -1 on play to rest an opponent's 4 cost or less. Guild Tassaro, when attacking, -2 to draw 2, so that's pretty good value if you do have ways to ramp that Don back. Zed is a very strong card. Already he's at 8000 power, and he just needs to -1 Don to gain an extra 2000 power. And then, if he is battling a strike attribute, he gains another 3000, so he can very easily destroy Luffy cards, for example. Very big boy Douglas Bullet is an 8 cost with 10,000 power, which can activate main for a cost of -4 Don to rest up 2 of the opponent's 6 cost or less, and he'll gain double attack. This card is a huge game winner in any purple deck. Normally you'll feel safe with 2 life left and 2 blockers on the field, but this guy can demolish all of that and set up a last attack from leader or another character for game. Heck, against a Kaido deck with Onigashima on board, you won't even be safe sitting at 4 life. They could attach 7 to the leader, attack, -7 to burn 1, use Onigashima to get a Don back, which will give them enough Don to -4 with Douglas Bullet, and put in that double attack with another attacker on board. And if you can't counter over that, you're done. The card that everyone is buying the starter deck for, and will be a purple staple card, is the 4-cost Uta. She's a blocker that also has counter power, and when she is used to block, she can -1 Don to rest a 5 cost or less, essentially stopping 2 attacks. Uta is also featured on the purple secret rare in the set, costing 8. She has 8000 power, and on play she -2 Don to give your leader card and all of your characters an extra 1000 power until the start of your next turn. This is great in that you can play the high cost card without taking away your ability to put in stronger attacks for the turn, because you don't have any Don left to attach. Playing Uta before doing any attacks, and then the extra good value is on your opponent's turn, they'll still have that power boost, making it a little bit easier to defend. And here's one for your King deck. Yes, that's right. Cheeky Old Wheelhead can't be KO'd in battle if you have 8 or more Don. So as long as you don't minus Don too much, this effect can always be live. And rounding up on the characters, you have your usual slew of skillless cards, a blocker, and 2 cards with trigger. The Shiki one comes with an extra cost of -1 Don for that trigger, but I guess that makes up for it being a 2k counter. Only 2 event cards with the film trait, both of them are in the starter deck. Lion's Threat Imperial Earthbind costs 3 and -2 Don to KO a 5 cost or less. Union Armado is a counter that costs 2 for 4000 power. If you use it on a character, that character can't be KO'd for the rest of the turn. It's important to be aware that if you use this on a character, do not continue to counter even though you technically need to, because once this has been used on that character, it's invincible, so you don't need to waste any more counters. It's more like a 2-in-1 on this card, so used on your leader, it's just a 4k counter. You use it on a character, and then it's acting like a kind of better version of Yasakani Sacred Jewel, the card that I talked about in the Black Cards video. And that is it for the purple film cards. Not many. Shanks as a leader is cool, but he is pretty limited at this point in time because he only has access basically to the cards that are in the starter deck and then 3 other cards. But there are plenty of good cards here that can be used in any generic purple deck. Any purple cards with the film trait that come out in the future will make Shanks better, and going off just the cards that currently exist at this time from set 1 and set 2, when they release either a purple red or a purple green leader, you could have some fun getting creative with the red and green film cards. Speaking of which, there are red-green leaders currently, so you can do something with the film cards in the red and green pools, and that's something I might talk about in the next video when I talk about the green set 2 cards, which include the film archetype. So if you subscribe, you'll see that video when it is up, and I'll see you then.